You already know what time it is, y'all. It is time to add some more cards to the tier list. By the way, guys, how's it going? It's your boy Marcus, the Love Vision Snap player. And welcome back to this brand new vid. We got a bunch of other cards to rank, including one of the new ones from this season. And that is... Where is he? Did I add him to the list? Oh, no. Oh, there he is. Archangel Horseman of Death. We will be adding this dude to the list today. And his placement might annoy some peeps, but we'll get to that. Actually, he's the fourth card. So let's go ahead and get things started with Agent Venom. Now, I might not remember these dudes' abilities from the top of my head, so I may need to load up Snap. Or, let me do that real quick, actually. I do forget, though, that this game can be kind of a laggy mess, so I should have had this open right now. But I think if I can remember off the top of my head, he basically sets the power of your hand to 3, I think? I don't know, guys. The problem is I rarely even play Agent Venom. I think I might have played him once when I got him, but yeah, he kind of just like fell off. So let's go back to the collection here. I think he's a 2, right? Is he a 2 cost? He might be. Variants off because we don't do variants. Or is he a 3? Yeah, he is a 2. Okay. But from what I can remember from Agent Venom, he might be... I'm just gonna find him first. There's Chamber, which I do also have as well. Oh, there he is. So on reveal, set the power of all cards in your deck to 3. Yeah, I might have used this once, but I don't know. I don't think he's like terrible. And no, you know what? I'm gonna put him here. I'm gonna put him in needs more play because I honestly think that I just gotta mess around with him more. So I don't want to put him in terrible, knowing that I haven't really used him as much. So he's going there for now. After Agent Venom, we've got Ajax. And I have been using this dude in my... I made a toxic deck with Clea. And a bunch of other Afflict stuff. And actually, speaking of Clea, I do have her in this list as well. So we will be ranking her. But I made a deck with... Let's see, I have it. It should be one of these. Right. It was this one. So yeah, I have him in a deck with Clea and the new Wolverine. And he's okay at best. He's not like my favorite card I've ever played with, but he basically gets stronger when cards are afflicted. But even then, he's just not one that I'm going to really want to play as often. As for Aranya, she's one of the cards that you can get via Activate. Well, she's one of the cards that you can get from, I think it's the Collector's... Is it the Collector's Series 5-pack? I think so. But essentially, it's like she can move in your cards to the right, or is it left? I don't know. Regardless, when you activate her ability, she'll move one of the cards that you play next and give them additional power. But then again, when I do build move decks, I don't typically put her in. But then again, it has been quite a minute since I have played with her or used her in any deck. So I'm going to put her in here for now. Right after that, we've got the brand new Archangel Horseman of Death. This might come as a shocker to some people, or this might be controversial, but I actually think this dude's kind of solid. Especially when you pair it with other cards that can revive stuff, this dude could be a really fun addition. I mean, think about it. If you destroy other cards like a Marrow, right, and then you have Archangel resurrect the Marrow, then you destroy him again, you could do even more damage. There's actually some decent things you could do with this. Now, does that mean he fits in every other deck? No. He is kind of limited to destroy, but I don't think it's as bad as people say. Like, I know in the this week's episode of the Snapchat, they were kind of downing him, saying that he was pretty. Alex Cocha said he was pretty poo-poo, which I disagree. I think he's a really fun card, despite his limitations on deck archetypes and stuff like that. I even built him in a Dormammu shell, and he's really fun. So overall, while he's not necessarily an amazing card, I do feel like he is pretty solid. As far as like destroy archetype goes, so really solid pick for one of the newer cards this season. But yeah, as far as his ability goes, let me find it. Here's my Dormammu. So his ability, guys, is it right here? Objective: your cards are destroyed 4 times. Resurrect 1 here with +4 power, which honestly I think is really solid. So yeah, he's gonna go in the great tier for right now. So really good fun card overall. After that, we've got Ares, a 4-cost 6 power card that basically looks at the highest power cards in your deck, and if they have like a bigger number, he'll get another 6 power, an additional +6 power, making them +8 412. Which, I mean, it's not bad, but I feel like when I build a lot of decks, I don't typically think of building like around him. I don't know. Do I put him in needs more play? Or, because I've played with him a decent amount of time, but not. No, you know what? I'm going to put him here. Because I feel like he's got a solid ability. It's just that I got to keep experimenting with stuff. Or with him, at least. Now, Aurora, on the other hand, is honestly another really solid card. So, what she does is, think of her like a Spectrum, but she buffs end of turn on reveal. Like, she can buff quite a bit of different archetypes and stuff. So, pop her in an ongoing deck, pop her in an on-reveal deck. You can pop her into a decent amount of stuff. Decent amount of archetypes, and she's a great fit. So yeah, overall, definitely another solid card to be in the great tier alongside Archangel. After that, we have Baron Zemo. I've got mixed feelings about him. Because, I mean, I haven't... No, you know what? I kind of feel like he's not that good of a card. Because it's like, in what... Like, it really depends on the deck that you're playing him. And it's kind of tricky. But honest to goodness, y'all, for me, I think he's not terrible. I mean, he basically pulls one of your opponent's lowest cost cards and brings them to your side of the location, which, depending on what that is, it could be good or bad. But I don't know, man. For me, I'm just not going to use this dude often. So, in that case, I'm going to have to put him in average. He's not terrible, but I do feel like he's just not really the best of the best. Bastion. Yeah. This is another card where his ability just feels way too complex, and it's just like, I don't really see a lot of play, or I don't really see a lot of good decks to play him in. So I can't really say for sure if he's a terrible card or not. I know I tried him like when I got him during his debut season, Visions of the Future. But ever since then, it's like I haven't really given this dude a chance, which I'm going to have to put him in the needs more play tier. So he'll be going in right here. I do got to make sure I'm not getting any duplicates. I'm trying to make sure, because I have Black Swan is the next card, and I got to make sure I didn't already add her to the list. I just got to double check. But Black Swan has an activate ability that lets your one cost cards cost 0 until the end of next turn, which is pretty decent. But isn't what I'm really gonna use all the time? Nah, not really. However, her ability can be pretty solid depending on the deck that you use. But in my experience, yeah, she's kind of an okay card, to be honest. So she's gonna go in average. After Black Swan, we have Blink. I better double check and make sure I don't have Blink. But I don't know. I think she swaps when you're like higher cards or something. I don't remember because honestly, I don't really use her a lot, so I'm gonna put her in needs more play. I think also the same could probably be said for Bullseye too. I think I'll also put Bullseye. He's one that I hardly ever play. So then after Bullseye, we've got Cassandra Nova. She's another really fun, like, interesting affliction card, where she'll basically deal some damage to cards in your opponent's deck. As far as, like, decks that you could put her in, it's just, like, affliction. That's about it. But overall, she's got a decent ability. I've played her a handful of times in, like, some affliction-style decks. So I do think that she's a really fun card. Mr. Chamber. Now, he did get a nerf in the recent OTA, which I didn't really mess around with him yet. But when he debuted in the Weapon X season, he had a really good ability, a really interesting ability at that. However, just like many of the other cards, I kind of just threw him to the side and just never really thought to use him again. So I think I got to go back to the drawing board with him and see where he really fits now. Because with all the new objective cards and stuff, it's kind of tricky to figure out where he's going to belong. So I'm going to put him in here. Ms. Kalia. I'm not going to really say that she's an amazing card. However, I do like the idea of, like, where if you buff, because the way Kalia works is if you give her, like, permanent power, right? So if you play her into an agony, she'll add a card called Flames of the Faltine. It's a 1-cost skill that basically deals 3 damage, which, again, only really fits in affliction decks. However, I know I said that a lot. Pretty fun, man. A really, really fun card, especially if you have, like, Bar Sinister and all that, and you just watch. Like, I remember I had one of the Flames afflict the Beta Ray Bill, and watching their power just go down and down and down instead of up. It's a really solid pick, man. Klee is a really cool card. However, Diamondback kind of fell off, though. Like, she was really a cool card. Like, when the season was coming to an end, this was the one card I was looking forward to. When did she debut? Was it, like, Brave New World? I want to say it was Brave New World, and this was the one card I was looking forward to that season. But yeah, she kind of just fell off. I like the idea of where she'll just keep dealing damage to other, like, she'll just keep dealing damage to other cards in your, to, like, other cards that got afflicted. However, I've kind of, like, I don't really play too much Affliction, so, I didn't really see a use case for, Diamondback. So, it kind of does hurt to say this, but I'm going to have to put her in average. Or could this be another card of, like, needs more use cases? Needs more play? Yeah. Yeah, I gotta just... I have a bunch of cards here that I really haven't used much. Outside of the typical, like, ongoing horde type of deal. By the way, guys, that needs more play tier. It doesn't mean that the card is good or bad. It just means that I need to experiment with it more. I need to keep working with these cards to really see where they fit. And then later down the line, I will add these dudes to the upper tiers to see where they belong. So, you know, if I play Miss Marvel and she turns out to be terrible, then she'll move up to the terrible tier. And so on and so forth. So that's what this tier means. And I have a feeling there's going to be a bunch of cards in this collection that are going to end up being in that specific tier. But after Diamondback, we've got Dormammu. I just revisited this dude recently with my Archangel Destroy deck that I built. Which, if you haven't seen that, I made a video for it. But it was a really, really fun... this is like a really fun card. Because he has a bunch of different steps. So, step 1, you play a skill that basically destroys one of your he merges one of your cards that got destroyed. And then once you've done that, you play another skill that afflicts all other cards into that location. And he'll get all that power. And then lastly, you play the last step and it'll destroy 2 other cards. Which pretty much means that this dude belongs into destroy archetypes. However, if you execute all the steps correctly, he becomes a pretty big powerhouse, man. So yeah, overall, a really cool, fun addition. Do I put him in amazing? No. I'm gonna play it safe and put him in great. Because I still got to keep messing around with that deck to see where he fits, but overall, not bad. After Dormammu, we've got Emperor Hulkling, and from what I can remember with this dude is he'll copy the text of another 6-cost card at the start of the game, which I think in a couple of the custom deck series vids, I did end up using this dude. Which, he's not bad. I don't really dislike him, but I don't really think this is one I'm going to use most of the time, half the time. Isan, I don't know, he's kind of garbage. Like, yes, he has 10 power, he's a 6'10", but all he really does is just pull, like, created cards from your deck, from, like, your hand or deck to his location. But then again, you're not really going to be playing too many decks where you're running created cards, right? Whether that's playing Major Victory. I don't know, man. I see no purpose for Isan, so he's going to go in terrible for now. So yeah, he's going here. And then also, I guess also the same could be said for well, no, because I mean, to be fair, like, basically the way this dude works is like, if your opponent just has a discarded or destroyed card, he'll revive it, but on your side, which can be good, but it just depends on the type of deck that you run them in. So, yeah, I think there's a few cards in here that are going to be in the needs more play tier. That being Fenris. And we'll also even add... Oops. We don't want to add a new tier, but we just want to add a new card to that tier. So Fenris, Frigga, and then who else do we got left? Galacta. Yes. So this card I have been running in a lot of other decks outside of like Galactus and stuff. And you know what? I think she's an okay card. And plus, like with Magus, it's a really cool combination. So overall, pretty cool. As for Goliath though, I think he's okay. I think he's an okay card at best. He does have a decent spot in ongoing decks, but I don't know. He's not, like, super crazy impactful. Gore, on the other hand, I think he is honestly really cool. Because it's like every time you play an unrevealed card is played, he'll get stronger. And this is a pretty solid card overall. Now, Mr. Herbie, on the other hand. Oh, Herbie. This is the last card for the tier list, by the way. And I gotta say, this dude is freaking awesome. For a 2-cost card that has multiple activate abilities. So the way the card works is at the end of each turn, he'll swap through 4 different activate abilities. Great. Now it's okay. But one of them, it gives you +2 energy. The other one adds a rock to your location and sets its power to 4. Then there's another one that gives +1 power to cards on other locations. And there's also one that doubles as power. So that's a really, really quite amazing. No, I kind of already remembered it. So, you know what? This might be kind of bold, but I'm going to put him here. Now, does this mean I'm going to run him in every single deck that I play? No. However, what he is capable of doing, the abilities that he has, is just pretty freaking amazing. And then also on top of it, you have cards like Jocasta who can repeat that ability. It's really good. So I'm going to put him in amazing. Put him in the amazing tier. But yeah, guys, there it is. That is all of the cards for this new tier list. Or not for the new tier list, but those are all the cards that I have to rank for this episode. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Y'all know the drill. Like, sub, all that good stuff. And yeah, stay tuned for the next episode because I might rank some more new cards. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.